Good evening and welcome to our 8th round of our 1980 Procar Series Championship. We have crowned our champion in Cesare Ślepinski, but 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th are still up for grabs. Tonight we are showing from the beautiful track of Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, also known simply as the Circuit of Imola. Located in what I think is more or less the town center of Imola. And first of all, our condolences and well wishes to all our Italian fans and friends who are experiencing quite a heavy downpour and flooding, at least. I know it was earlier this week, and I think it's still ongoing, so hope everyone is doing well, or as well as can be expected in these times. But tonight we will try to take your minds off that for a little bit. So the Imola circuit, quite a nice and flowing one. Obviously this is the 1988 layout we'll be using. It's the most correct one that we can get in the sim itself. It's a 5.04 kilometer permanent road circuit, and our drivers will be driving for 25 laps, which equals 126 kilometers. This layout obviously with the very fast and high speed Tamburello corner and down into the hairpin at Villeneuve. And we have a total of 4 chicanes for the drivers to deal with here tonight. So brakes will take a beating, and probably the rear tires having to accelerate from those slow speeds. Speaking of the points in the championship, this is as always how the points will be awarded. 20 points for first, 15 for second, 12 for third, 10 for fourth and 8 for fifth. And then 6 for 6th, and then 4 points to 7th, dropping by 1 point down to 10th. And 10th placed finisher will score 1 point. And as always, each driver hoping to score points will have to complete 90% of the race distance, which tonight would mean that they need to complete a total of 22.5 laps. Which might be a tall order. These BMWs aren't that happy around this place, but I suppose in a way it's a somewhat easier track overall compared to Sanford last time out. But anyway, the points championship at the moment. Cesare Ślepinski is our secured championship winner on 125 points. Gran in second has 85. Anders Nilsson in third has 71. Richard Wilkes in fourth has 65. And Giovanni Santorame, who is fifth at the moment, has 49. So all in all, I reckon Giovanni can still finish second if Anders and, well, Grant Riddle scores no points and Anders score no more points than 18 over the remaining 2 rounds that we have. Because after this round we have one more round, which will be Avus, which will be its own interesting challenge, shall we say. And I reckon, considering this is probably going to be quite a hectic race, I'll bring you to the trivia question for this evening. And afterwards we will have a look at the track. So which of the following oddball features can be found on the M1? Was it A, headlamps from a Nissan 300 SX? Was it B, two BMW logos on the back? Or was it C, mirrors from a Citroën CX? That will be something for you all to ponder until we get to the end of the broadcast. But for now, let's bring ourselves to the racetrack and see how everyone is getting on at this, as Matthew mentions, particularly tricky circuit. You can see here Anders Nilsson coming around, but let's see if we have anyone. We have Francisco Amaral just coming around to start the lap, so let's jump on board with the Brazilian and follow him around for a lap. So coming through what is the kink, taking the turn 1 and then into Tamblovello. He actually lifts a little bit on the entrance and still runs wide. Oh dearie me! Oh, this is going to hurt. Ouch. So unfortunately Francisco with a big off there. Yeah, looks like he is done. So let's see if we have anyone else coming around that section. Cesarius will be. So let's follow him as he follows Fredriksson, who is in a one-off drive in the Jan Lammers number 99 machine. The BMW Netherlands car, I think that is. Both unraveled, or actually a little dab of the brakes for Fredriksson through there. Still running just a little bit wide. Through the kink here, Fredriksson backs off, nice and sporting. Who all crossed up, trying to get the car slowed down for Villeneuve here, this tight left-hand hairpin. First or second gear, depending on driver's preference. And then up the hill we go. Very important to get a good exit there to pull yourself up the hill. Then over the crest and quickly on the brakes, try to get the car slowed down for this fairly quick left-hander. Use all the curbing if you need to. Then it opens up and down to Acqua Minerale, a right-left-right chicane section with quite a difficult entry and a difficult exit as well. As you pull up the hill, the track sort of falls away from the rear end, so it's very easy to break the rear end off and have a bit of a slide. Up over the hill and over the crest and then into another chicane here. Another important exit here to get the speed with you coming down the hill. As it kicks left and then through a right here over another crest. Another easy place to get it all crossed up and not be able to slow down for this 90-degree left. And another 90-degree left. Then you want to take the left-hand side for the chicane where Barry Keller had a big off in 94. And then another left-right chicane, very slow onto the start-finish straight. We have completed one lap. We can see Schlapinski clearly fastest and at the moment in this warm-up session. My apologies, the hairpin I called Villeneuve is called Tosa. We can see quite crossed up. Let's see, so who do we have? We have Nilsson, we have Centorame quite fast here in what I believe is his home race in this championship. We have Gabriel Sturbeck, currently running 4th. We have Fredriksson, which we saw earlier. We have Dave Miller running quite quick at the moment in 6th. We have Jan Tem. We have Rob de Vries in one of the Scuderia Basilea cars. We have a newcomer to the series and to ISO. We have Niklas Kirsten, who I believe is from Germany, if I not misremember. So hopefully he will have a good event and race here with us tonight. We have Ray Rideau, Francisco Amar we saw earlier, Martin Lassina, David Saber, we have Richard Wilkes, Juha Bos, Michael Drexler, Bruno Chacon, we have Ricardo Mendes in the number 66 machine. And those are the cars currently on the server. I believe we are missing at least a couple of cars that I think at least has made their intentions known to be racing tonight, but we'll wait and see, I suppose. But looking at this, it's probably going to be difficult to not say Shlapinski will take the win, but I can see that Centoram and Nilsson ain't too far off, so if Shlapinski makes any kind of mistake, we could still have a different winner here tonight. Ooh, Stir does a similar mistake, I'd say, to what the Professor did all those years ago, when driving for Ferrari in a very wet Imola at the time, when he span off on what was the formation lap. As we can see, Ricardo Mendes with a very quick race lap here, up to 5th. As time is running down, we're just waiting for the race to start to get underway. Ooh! And that's how difficult that chicane is. If you enter too quickly, you can very easily run too wide and into the tire wall. As we can see, everyone's starting to get ready. Drexler, I think, was doing either having a bit of a spin or doing a little practice race start. But either way, time has run out and we are shortly going to have the race session ticking over. And there we are. We are in race session. There we are. That was what I was waiting for. I tried to mute it, but I didn't read it properly. But yeah, hope you all will enjoy the show tonight. Just waiting for the server to catch up with the change of session, so we can see the whole grid in its beautiful broiling colors and the beautiful BMW M1 machines. There we are. That is a very beautiful grid. So, on pole is Cesare Ślepinski. Second on the grid is Giovanni Centorame. Third, with a very good first ever qualifying session here at ISO, Niklas Kirsten in third. Fourth is Martin Lassina with a very good qualifying session. He's been having a bit of a lackluster year so far, but hopefully he'll have a good event here. Anders Nilsson has qualified fifth, with Gabriel Stur in sixth. Richard Wilkes has qualified seventh, with Jon Tim qualifying eighth. Juha Bos has qualified ninth, with Dave Miller rounding out the top 10 in the second of the Sauber Racing Switzerland cars. David Saber qualifies 11th, with Michael Drexler in 12th. Jakob Fredriksson qualifies 13th, with Francisco Amaral in 14th. Rob de Vries qualifies 15th, with Brun Chacon qualifying 16th. René Vidal has qualified 17th, and Ricardo Mendes, I believe, is our final qualifier in 18th. You can see they haven't gotten that far actually, they are only at Acqua Minerale. So a very slow, careful lap here. But at least it gives us a chance to see all the beautiful cars running across the track here. So nervous times for the drivers, but coming through Variante Bassa for final time, getting ready to get a race underway. See if we can get a camera angle where we can actually see the lights as well. I have a feeling we won't be able to. Nope. So let's go with this camera instead. And we're just waiting for the lights. There we are, the race is underway. And looks like a slow start for Kirsten. But a good start for Ślepinski so far. Oh, a big gaggle of cars. One on the grass, two on the grass. Fredriksson on the grass, I think that is. Oof, that is scary. Hopefully everyone survives Tamburello though. Looks like they have. Good, good. So coming down into Tosa for the first time. Looks like everyone more or less gets through it okay. You see Dave Miller, I think that is a little bit wide. That's actually Juha Bos. Juha Bos has had a slow start, Miller with a good start. Down into Acqua Minerale. Let's see, hopefully everyone is able to get the car slowed down and survive this section. Let's see Niklas Kirsten getting to grips as well. Unfortunately dropped back to 14th, but we've seen in qualifying he has the pace, so it's one of those where you do your first race, you need a bit of time just to get used to it. Ooh, Anders Nilsson didn't see Gabriel Stir there, but Anders Nilsson going for the move on Richard Wilkes. Ooh, too wide through here is Brave. Ooh, and just about looks like Nilsson will take the position away. He does. So Nilsson up to 4th, Wilkes down to 5th. You see that, I think that's David Saber locking up going into Rivazza. Because Wilkes had a good start, but now starting to fall back into the clutches of the other drivers. No, that was Brunchakon with the lock-up earlier. So we can see Slapinski leads after lap 1, Sendrame 2nd, Lasina 3rd, Nilsson 4th, Wilkes 5th, Stur 6th, Miller 7th, Tim 8th, Saber 9th, and Fredriksson rounding out the top 10. Then Drexler, Amaral, Bos. Bos actually looking up the inside there. Not able to make it happen on Amaral. You can see Bos has had a bit of a side-by-side contact somewhere. As he is up the outside, braking for Aqua Minerale. That's not the place to be for a pass here. Oh, but Amaral runs deep. Maybe Bos can get a run on the exit here. Oh, not quite. Let's jump on board Amaral's car. Look back over his rear wing. Back towards Bos and Kirsten. And De Vries. See there, the rear ends really are working around this place. It will be a struggle later on in the race when the rear tires really have been eaten into. Oh, Amaral hits the curbing, goes sideways. Bos needs no second invitation. Oh well, Drexler was quite close there too. See, Amaral was actually looking up the inside with Drexler down into Rivazza and in Rivazza too. Oh, there's actually a little bit of contact with the rear end of Drexler's car too. As now Bos is up the inside and Amaral has lost out to Kirsten, so let's run it back again. Let's see what happened to Amaral. Oh, a bit too crossed up again. Kirsten dives up the inside into the second bit of the Variante Baza and goes through. And then further up, Juha Bos with a good exit and takes the position away. So all hands on deck here. Bos up to 11th, Kirsten up to 13th. Well, all of these guys crossed up going into Torsa. Someone has spun. That is unfortunately David Saber with a spin at Tosa. And drops way back, unfortunately, all the way to 17th position. And Nilsson has caught Lasina. At least a little bit I can see up there, and about a 1.5 second gap between first and second. But let's follow this battle for a little bit, because I have a feeling Kirsten will be wanting to try and have a look at Drexler in the near future. Going all crossed up there. Ooh! De Vries hard into the tires and caught up his Wilkes, and I think that is Mendes, it is. So all three of them caught up in that tiny, tiny mistake. That's very unfortunate for all of them. Amaral really working hard with the car. When De Vries unfortunately has retired from the damage she picked up in that incident. It's highly unfortunate. Unfortunately, looks for Niklas that he's quick in a couple of places, but not in the right places to have a proper chance at a move. And maybe overdriving a little bit, trying to get close enough to Drexler as well, by the looks of things. Oh, but that's a mistake from Drexler, ran too deep. Maybe a chance for Kirsten coming out of this section and going up to Variante Alta. Quite close enough. And Nilsson has passed Lassina. Lassina looked to be falling into the clutches of Wilkes as well. So let's head on up the field a little bit. So Wilkes, Sturr and Lassina running together here. Maybe Lassina made a mistake then. Still, I suppose, in a way, only a second and a half roughly between Ślepinski and Santarame. Santarame really doing a good job so far this evening. Oh no! Lassina hits the curbing and Tamburello gets all crossed up. And amazingly, Wilkes and Sturr avoids him. Holy moly! Ooh. Let's have a look at that from the point of view of Wilkes here. As we can see up ahead on the curbing, and correction and holding it, just not running too wide. Wow, that must have been very scary indeed. As Lassina also drops the place to Tim, and Miller trying to have a go as well, it looked like, for a moment. So Lassina with a really good qualifying and a good start, but it's just slightly starting to unravel for him, unfortunately. It looks like, unfortunately for us, Santarame has made a mistake as well up front and dropped quite a bit of time now to Ślepinski. It was 1.5, it's now 5.5 seconds, so 4 seconds lost in what must have been some kind of mistake. Nilsson third and doing his best, and Dandes to try and get closer to Santarame. And here we have still a battle on for fourth between Wilkes and Sturr now. Not too far behind either is Jon Tim. And Sturr with a bit of a look. Oh, was that maybe Lassina all locked up trying to get the car stopped for Tosa. I think he got a bit too crossed up. Looks like Wilkes for the moment has enough to hold Sturr behind. Miller protecting from Fredriksson, and Bos looking up the inside. Lassina with another lockup, runs wide. This could very well be Miller's chance. It is. So Miller passed. And looks like the whole train is going to go past. So Lassina from 7th down to 10th. Ooh, and very deep for all 4 of them. Bos all crossed up and Lassina retakes 1 position there. So now Lassina 9th and Bos back to 10th. And in behind there we could see Niklas Kirsten still having a look at Drexler, and neither of them able to, well, technically Kirsten not able to make his way past, and still the battle goes on. When in behind Bos looking really racing behind Lassina. Let's see, not able to make the move, maybe on the exit. No, doesn't look like it, and it looks like Kirsten is too far back going into Tosa to give Drexler a run for his money. So I think Niklas needs to concentrate on a good exit coming out of Variante Bassa to be able to have a good run through Tamburello and have a chance at Tosa. Oh, and Kirsten has finally made his way past. Whatever happened here? Oh, Drexler ran deep. So up at Piratea I think that would be. Drexler ran deep. Had to let Niklas Kirsten pass, but fortunately for Amaral he wasn't close enough to take advantage. So let's see now if Niklas can catch up to that battle group up ahead. When Amaral with the run up the inside of Drexler. Both of them stays on the track, a tiny bit of contact, but who's still with a tiny bit of an overlap, but ooh, harsh defense from Drexler, but holds on to position. When Bos all over the curbing and gets crossed up with that. Shaking the front, Schlapinski is still now with a 5-second lead, so just closing up a little bit to Centorame in 2nd. He's pulling away from Nilsson in the 3rd. 4th is still Wilkes with Stir for close company, but so far Wilkes is holding on. Still Jon Tim in 6th, and then this battle group for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Oh, Juha Bos off! Oh, Fredriksson out as well. Whatever happened here? Oh, Fredriksson crossed up, went off the road. Oh, and Bos too fast through there, gets crossed up onto the grass and ran steep. So let's see, that looked like a big off for Fredriksson, unfortunately. We saw him do that in the warm-up as well. As I shut my my picture window off, so let's see. Oh, he was crossed up mid-corner already, and then more crossed up, and then just straight off he went. Oh, that's a massive off. Holy moly. Let's see, Bos, yeah, just too much speed through the kink, and then couldn't get it stopped for Tosa. Didn't get stuck though, lost 1 position. Oh, he's actually out too. Whatever happened here then? Oh, maybe an off at Variante Alta, it looks like. Oh, dearie me, indeed. Heavy hit into the tires on the inside, and out of the race he is as well. So Drexler up to 13th, fighting, actually has dropped back to 13th, fighting with Saber now. Mendes 11th and trying to get to grips with Amaral. Kirsten in 9th and not closer to Lassina at the moment. Miller in 7th and Jon Tim still 6th. So unfortunately that has broken up the battle group as Amaral is out. Whatever happened here, and someone was off
he hit the tire wall in the last chicane.
Ah, dearie me. Oh, hello, Juha. Sorry to see you out. Oof. Yeah, that was a big off, and that's why Mendes was off as well then. In sympathy, I suppose, and the same for Saber by the looks of things. Dear me.
Well, they don't move. They don't move. I can tell you that one now.
No, indeed, that's... well, I suppose one could say they put some kind of concrete block within the tires as well to make them sort of stick to where they are. Looked like you were having a good fun race up until that final off though.
Yes, until I saw Jacob spin and I forgot to brake for the next turn. I did it by myself. Well, stupid, but well, accidents happen. At least I didn't take someone else with me.
No, indeed, every cloud has a silver lining.
Battle for fourth is looking interesting with Gabriel Stir being on the Wilkes' rear wing.
Yeah, he's been there for a good 7 or 8 laps now, so... but closer now than he was before, and I noticed...
oh, yeah, he can have a look in now. Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, and all crossed up on the brakes, but just about able to get it in front before the right-hander at the exit of Bassa, and past he goes. And if I didn't mistake myself, it looks like Central is closed up further with about half a second to Schlapinski as well, so that is still up for grabs. Let's see if Wilkes can get back to grips with Stir here. It looks like Chacon Ridol for 12th and 13th are fighting as well.
Dave Miller's just gone off. Ow, and he seems to have taken someone with him, but
oh, dearie me, that's Lassina.
Yeah, and that's the same place where Jacob went off earlier.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, looks like let's jump on board with Lassina and watch.
Yeah, Lassina retired now.
Here. Looks like Miller ran a bit deep on the marbles for Miller and just lost it, and that was one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't for Lassina. It's like slow down, but which way do you go on this tight track? And unfortunately, Lassina's car not happy with the with 2 contacts, both with Miller's car and the outside barrier, and unfortunately a retirement indeed.
Yep.
Aye. And Mendes out as well. So
I haven't checked what happened there. I will try to find out for you.
All the drivers started to suffer from a bit of fatigue. I think this track is quite a lot of work and clearly a difficult proposition to keep the car on the track.
Mendes clipped the same tire as I did. There we go.
Ah dear. That's highly unfortunate, but I suppose in a way that off has given us one more battle to keep an eye on. In the form of now Miller against Niklas Kirsten.
Yes, for 7th. As Gabriel Stur seems to distance himself from Wilkes.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes, we will have to be content with the battle of 7 because that's the closest thing we have on track.
Well, that and the battle for
Ray
11th and
Riddle,
12th, right?
yeah, 11. Well, exactly. I'll call the battle for 11 because nobody wants to be 12th.
Oh, probably not, indeed. Everyone wants to be 10th or better. Because that means points.
It does.
And it's amazing looking at Miller's car, despite more or less getting completely T-boned from the side, the car seems to be running fairly straight.
Oh, Chacon goes off on the braking and straight on at Tosa.
Ah dear.
So he's chucked in reverse now, but that leaves Ravidal well clear in 11th.
Indeed. Oh dear. Okay, yep. Didn't reverse too far. So let's see. Oh, just a little bit too wide, a little bit too fast, just like yourself looked to be when you forgot to brake.
No, I didn't go too wide. I just forgot to brake. Stop.
Well, I suppose the one compounded the other.
Yeah, well, I went a bit further in.
Quite.
Okay, so we can focus back on the battle for 7th, as that's... Oh, Wilkes has dropped down to 6th. No, I missed that bit.
Oh wow. Whatever happened there then? Happened a while ago.
Yeah, it must have happened a while ago. Well, I suggest you keep an eye.
Oh, he had a spin at Rivazza.
Double left-hander, yes.
Went in just a bit too deep. Tried to keep the power on, and the car just rotated. Very nice recovery, though. Must say.
Yes. And Nicholas Kirsten still has Dave Miller in his sights. And I would say Drexler is closing in on David Saber. As Ravidal spins coming onto the main straight.
Oh dear.
Which looks a very battered car now.
Yeah, I think he's had a couple of offs by now. That's one of
yeah, he's about to be lapped by Cesarius.
But that is one of the positive things I'd say about ISO. No matter what kind of pace you have in a certain car, you'll always have someone you can battle with.
Yeah, although I was going to say lapped by Cesarius, there's still Chacon between them. It's Bruno who's going to be lapped by Cesarius first. The one BS car lapping the other.
Drexler definitely closing in on Saber. Now only roughly a second.
Yeah, we could have a battle on our hands. Very shortly. Oh, Dave Miller's gone off.
Oh no!
He clipped a tyre.
Oh, dearie
which
me.
puts both Procars out of the race.
Oh, dearie me. So that was, he clipped the curb and maybe even the tyre on the entry, and then that spat him wide into the other tyre and a big off into the tyre barriers on the outside.
Yeah.
Aye.
So we're going to even less track action to look forward to now. I think the only remaining battle we have now is for 11th, I'd say. Sorry, 8th. Or was that 7th? I'll go with 8. Saber being chased by Drexler.
Indeed.
And there seems to be quite big gaps between the rest of the field.
Especially on board with the roof camera of Drexler's, and look at how he is closing in on Saber for a lap or so. It does look like up ahead that Stir is closing in on Nilsson as well.
I'll say Drexler's really closing in on Saber. The gap's now 1.2 seconds and might be even closer once they get to the next turn.
Actually, Saber looks to be a little bit better on the brakes into Rivazza.
No, we're not there yet.
Oh dear, Drexler runs deep.
Well, at least he avoided the tyre.
Oh indeed. That's one of those where you really need to know. Okay, I won't make the turn. I may as well just straight line it.
Yeah, I think that'll
And
cost him a second or two.
consolidate my loss. As my broadcast assistant has arrived.
I'm looking at Centorami. I think he's trying really hard to catch Cesarius because he's sideways all on the braking. He hasn't given up yet. Cesarius is about to lap. I think that's Ribidol.
And he has closed in just a little bit more than he was before, so it's one of those he has to try really hard to catch Lapinski, but also will he have anything left to fight with if when and or if he closes up?
4.3 seconds now, the gap. I think Gabriel Ster is trying to reel in Anders Wilson, Anders Nilsson as well. But currently no luck, the gap remains stable.
Santorama driving it like a rally car going into a couple of these turns. I suppose partly because the tires are probably starting to cry for a bit of a break as we're over halfway into the race.
Well, Centorama can see Slapinski, that's a good thing. So he knows what to aim for. As Centorama laps Ribidol.
Well, it looks like he's lost 0.6. 0.6 of a second so far this lap, but he closed back up a little bit there. I don't know if that's just a timing glitch or... Looks like it was probably a bit of a timing glitch indeed. Back down to 4.1, so...
Well, I've got it down to 4.5 now.
Let's see what it is across the line this time. Looks to be roughly the same.
Yeah.
A little bit time lost that lap around.
Well, he doesn't look like he's giving up trying.
Yellow flag, I believe that might be Chacon coming into the pits.
Yeah, so there's Chacon who was signaling pits. I suppose for either repairs or puncture.
Indeed.
I don't know how big the damage was. Maybe I had hope of catching the ailing Ribidol, who can open up a bigger gap now. And there goes Brune out of the pits. Having lost half a minute.
Ouch.
Yeah. Be interesting to see if he can make that one up again. So he's got 10 laps, so that's more than 4 seconds a lap he has to take back. That looks highly unlikely unless Ray goes off.
Well, it's one of those where he might feel that that is worth the possibility, since he presumably didn't feel he would be able to catch him up the way the car was. So
the gap between Slapinski and Centorami now down to 4.4 seconds as Centorami is really trying, but he's not getting much closer. Let's go. Sorry.
Indeed. Unfortunately, Stur has dropped a bit of time to Nilsson this lap as well, so looks like all battles are well and truly apart.
Slapinski's taking 4/10 on the. Sorry, Centrame has taken 4/10 back in the final sector. Oh, if he keeps that up, we. Preferably not that. Could be on for something. And then he loses 2 down the straight. So.
I reckon Slapinski is running lower wing then.
Good question.
Because it looked like Centrame lost time up the hill there as well.
Yeah, he's going to lose even more time by going off here.
Yeah, he ran too deep, went off. Back out to 5.5 seconds, so that probably seals the deal for Slapinski unless Slapinski makes a mistake.
Well, not necessarily. He can keep on trying. It's
true.
It cost him 2 seconds, so that's reasonable. But the race isn't that long, so he has to start making an impression, a positive impression this time.
Indeed.
Oh, Wilkes is a very close brush with the tyre wall.
Dear me, but at least survived.
He did.
So let's jump on board for a lap with Slapinski. Watch how he goes about completing a lap around this place. So unfortunately the tires is a sound glitch. They aren't scrubbing quite this much.
Oh, it seems Ray Riddle has retired.
Dear me.
I'll see if I can find out what's happened there, but that will promote Bruno Chacon into the point, and looks it's an engine failure for Ray apparently. So that will move Bruno Chacon into 10, so he gets a reward for his efforts.
Indeed.
That does mean we only have 10 cars left in the race.
Not sure what kind of engine failure, because it doesn't look like it's burning, but...
No, it went up the hill, so...
Well, maybe used a bit too much engine braking and not enough oil.
Would be.
So Centrame brought it back to
4.3. Yes.
But I don't think that's enough time to gain back to have a proper go at the win.
Well, I think he's getting closer, even now. 4.3, let's see what the next split says. Well, still 4.3. Sorry. I'd say he's keeping the pressure on Cesarius.
Indeed.
Oh.
So in the meantime, still in third is Anders Nilsson, still with a decent enough gap back to Gabriel Sturr in fourth. Fifth is Jon Tim. Sixth is still Richard Wilkes, despite that scare with the tyre earlier. Niklas Kirsten with a good first ever drive here at ISO in seventh at the moment. Looks to be enjoying the somewhat wayward handling of the M1. A little bit crossed up, maybe used a bit too much rear tires, so struggling just a tiny bit right now. Ooh, all locked up. Ooh! Nice save. Michael Drechler is currently in 8th, so he's made his way past Saber, who is now 9th. And rounding out the top 10 with 4 laps to go for himself to be classified for points, I reckon. Well, yeah, 4 laps left. Is
Well, he will be classified, don't worry. Meanwhile, Giovanni has dropped a second. And keeps on trying very hard.
I think he's overdriving the car now.
Oh, he probably is. If he hadn't gone off earlier, would be 3 seconds behind now.
Well, it may be even 2 seconds, so...
Yeah, that's a bit neater. I'm afraid his effort's going to run out of time. Oh, let's see, we have a battle for 8th, which is rather close.
Oh, they're closed back up. Nice. So Drexler being closed back in upon by David Saber, who's all crossed up coming out of Rivazza.
Bruno Chacon is over a lap behind them. They've just lapped him. I don't know what happened to Drexler because I think the gap was a bit bigger before.
I think it was 2 or 3 seconds, so a tiny mistake, maybe ran a bit deep somewhere.
Less than a second now.
Ooh, but Saber, too much power on, coming out of Tosa.
Ah, I see what happened. Drexler had to dodge a spinning Bruno Chacon.
Ah, I see. That's unfortunate.
And the gap between Schlapinski and Chantam is now 5.7 seconds.
Yeah,
I think he's given up on it.
Yeah, or he's overdriven the car like too many times.
All the times when it takes so much. Tiny mistake, but the gap's still growing between him and Saber.
Indeed. Schlapinski is coming up to lap Chacon for the 2nd time this race.
6.6 seconds gap now, so it's
that looks like a...
yeah,
okay,
7.
let's make sure to finish. I won't catch you.
Yeah, this should be Infosys Auris. Oh, and Drexler has a whoopsie at the chicane. Missed his braking there and nearly took out the second tire stack. So
Ooh.
this allows David Saber to close in again. Gap now down to 0.6 of a second. And runs wide.
Again.
Well, it's not voluntarily, but he's giving us a fight to watch now.
I've noticed that the difference between the throttle application between both Ślepiński and Santarami, who we've ridden along with, and Saber, where it seems more of a consistent for both Ślepiński and Santarami. Put the throttle on and keep it slightly on and get the car through the corner. For Saber seems more of a on-off, and then on again.
Yeah, that doesn't tend to work in this car.
That leads me back to when watching Top Gear back in the day when James May, I think, was given tutoring by Sayaki Stewart, and the consensus for Stewart for most of that day was don't put the throttle on until you know you don't have to take the throttle back off.
And that's some very sound advice. But obviously, going from Sir Jackie Stewart, I'm not expecting anything else.
Quite so, but it's interesting to see that seems to be definitely working in these cars in the sim as well. Where
it's not an on and off switch.
Being smooth and consistent with the throttle and knowing that okay, now I can actually be on it and just go instead of going on off. Now I can go. Being a bit too unsure about it, I suppose is the way to put it.
Yeah. And Drexler is going away from Saber again. As Chacon is being lapped by Centorame.
And Centorame
goes off.
Definitely, I think, have worked the tires too hard. Starting to feel that pain as well.
Well, now we can lap Chacon again.
I suppose that's a way to look at it.
Well, it's one way to say you overtook a green BNS car.
It looks like Jon Tim has made a mistake because he's quite a bit further back from Stir at this time. Difference between Nilsson and Stir is a little bit closer, but not that much closer. 11 seconds now, the gap between Centorame and Nilsson. And Ślepiński on his second to last lap goes back past, I believe that's Chacon again. That may have been Saber actually. That was Saber.
Well, Centorame has both BS cars in front of him now. Sorry, -1 now, he's lapped one. He's lapped Bruno Chacon again.
No, that was David Saber actually.
No, that was Chacon.
Oh right, he's further 9 seconds back. My bad. So technically I had all of 3 BNS cars in front of him at that point on track.
Yes. Oh, Cesarius getting a bit crossed up there.
Yeah, starting to let the mind wander, I reckon.
Yeah, no, this is not the right timing, Cesarius. You got one more lap to do.
As he crosses the line and starts his last lap. 10 seconds to gap even with that mistake, so Centorama definitely having backed off here.
Yeah, I think that's Drexler who's about to be lapped by Cesarius.
Yeah, it is.
There he goes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yep, there he
Well,
goes. That was...
yeah, there's no point in defending that. So
no,
I'm
indeed.
not sure there was really a need to overtake unless Drexler wants to end this race prematurely.
Well, I suppose in a way, as long as he just goes past this
Yeah,
chicane, he
that-
still gets the position
Yeah.
he's in, so... So here comes Drexler through the final through the Variante Bazza for the final time.
And Slapinski, you mean?
Yeah, Schlapinski, sorry. Coming across the line to take another win in this championship. Really stamping an authority upon this. Centorame comes through the final turn to take second in this race. And we
Anders
have
Nilsson
a
goes
couple
third.
of lapped cars. Saber finishes 9th and Chacon 10th. Here comes Nilsson to finish 3rd. And then we have Gabriel Sturr for Kanacher GT to finish 4th. And then a little bit of a gap of about 15 seconds, 16 seconds to John Tim. Here he comes through, coming out of Variante Bazza. Seemed quite happy to finish 5th. Yes, there he goes across the line. And then we have Richard Wilkes coming through the chicane at any moment. Here he comes in his black Mercedes car to finish 6th. Then a little bit more of a wait for the final car to cross the finish line here. And the Auto-Tune sponsorship, I believe that is for him. Niklas Kirsten, first drive here at ISO, picking up points in 7th.
That's a good debut. Can be happy for that.
Indeed. Definitely so. So while we wait to see if anyone might want to have a chat, let's have a look at the trivia question that we had for you this evening. So the question specifically was, which of the following oddball features can be found on the M1? Was it A, headlamps from a Nissan 300 SX? Was it B, 2 BMW logos on the back? Or is it C, mirrors from a Citroen CX? Do you have any guesses or thoughts or know what that could be?
I'm going for B.
Alrighty, and the correct answer is indeed B. 2 BMW logos on the back. When I saw the question, I went with C because I wanted it to be true. Because I like Citroens as a everyday car.
Well, I've been racing them for a few months, and then you notice the logos are there.
Quite so, quite so. So let's see, looks like no one is on their way here, so let's see, coming up next here at ISO will be next weekend on May the 28th, the 72nd Grand Prix de France from Paul Ricard. Thank you. A track that will probably favor those with low drag and big engines. But will be interesting to see how everyone tackles that challenge. But yeah, somewhat interesting race tonight. Unfortunately, a few retirees that meant that racing wasn't as close as we could have hoped. But all in all, a good evening's racing, I'd say. Any final thoughts from your side of things?
Well, it would be nicer if we had a few more cars in the race by the end, but we still had some entertainment, and hopefully it'll be just as interesting for the final round at Avis. I'm expecting a lot of slipstreaming going on there.
Indeed.
So I'll see you in a month's time in the M1s.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one for sure. So, yeah, until then, have a great week, everyone, and remember to be kind to one another. And we'll see you all in a week's time for the French Grand Prix. Good night, everyone.